I wouldn't want to do Kegel for a video project if it's a hard topic. I can barely get Kegel on as it is. Alright, cool. Alright, hello. Today I'm Peter Grivach from the Language Resource Center. And today we'll be presenting some grammar points. And first off, we're going to be starting out with demonstrative pronouns. So here we have kono, sono, ano, dono, and a noun. You'll notice that these all end in no. And that previously when we talked about no, no is kind of used for possessive, but it's also used for linking things. So kind of keep that in mind as we talk about these. Alright, so here we kind of have a situation here, and Abraham Lincoln is holding an ishi. It's a stone, ishi. And he's thinking, oh, kono ishi. It's in his hands, it's probably right around him, and it's this rock. Well, over here we have Kata-san, and he's kind of looking at Abraham. Kata-san is not holding the rock. He's seeing somebody else who's holding it, and it's kind of a little bit farther away from him. So he's thinking, sono ishi, that rock. It doesn't mean that someone else is going to be always holding the object, but it's going to be like a little bit farther away from him. And finally, last, kind of hidden behind the tree, a little bit farther away from everyone, we have Eisenhower-san, and he's saying, ano ishi, is that rock way over there. We don't really have we don't really distinguish this in English. We have there and from far over there. So you're going to have to get used to that a little bit. But ano is a little bit less rare than sono and kono. Alright, and finally we have dono ishi. So Lincoln-san no ishi is Lincoln-san's rock. Wa dono ishi, which rock. So every time you see dono, it means which. And you just put it in front of any sort of noun. So we take a look here. We have 3 different rocks to pick from. So dono ishi. And yappari kono ishi desu. Kono ishi. And let's just take a look at this situation. So here we have kono hamburger, kono keitai, kono handle, kono kapu. Zenbu wa, all of these things are really close to him and in his hands. But this is kind of outside the car. It's a little bit further away. So we're going to sono jitensha, that bicycle. Sono otoko no ko, that boy. Sono helmetto, that helmet. But even farther off, we have ano michi, that street over there. Maybe ano ie, that house over there. Maybe ano ki, that tree over there. Alright, probably go to the next one right now. Alright, so next we have kore, sore, are, dore. You should notice something in common with the last video. We have this same pattern of ko, so, do. So ko is always the closest thing, so is the kind of a little bit farther away thing, and a is even farther away. And dore is kind of a question word. Oops. So it's kind of similar as before. So we have kore, sore, are. Now notice that we don't say ishi. It's assumed that we already know that we're talking about a rock. It's just like saying this or this rock, that or that rock, there or that thing over there or that. Alright, so let's just look at some example sentences. Kore wa watashi no pen desu. And this is like holding my hand, this is my pen. Sore wa chichi no biru desu. Over there on the table, that's my father's beer. Kore wa oishii desu. Like, this is good, this is delicious. And are wa daigaku desu. Wet over there is a college. Here we have some common errors. Kore ie desu. Sometimes maybe you could hear this, but they're kind of forgetting some key grammar points. Every time you have this kore ending in re, it really needs a wa afterwards to make it go. And kono wa pen desu. Yeah, this no really needs a noun to come after it. You can't throw a wa particle in here. So maybe kore wa pen desu and kono ie desu would be better answers for these. Alright, next we're going to talk about the places, place markers. And you're going to see the same pattern. We have koko, soko, asoko, and here we have doko. Doko is like where? Doko desu ka? So ko, so, koko is the closest place. It's right here. Soko is maybe up by those people, not too far away. You can probably get there in a few seconds, but it's not here. It's over there. And asoko is, you can see like Fuji-san way over there in the distance. A good way to remember this is asoko is a-so-ko. Asoko. So, pen wa doko desu ka is a good sentence. It's soko desu, over there. So, Fuji-san wa doko desu ka? So, where is Fuji-san? Where is the Fuji mountain? Asoko desu. Chotto toi desu ne. It's way over there. It's a little far, isn't it? And so, watashi no biru wa doko desu ka? And koko desu. Koko. It's in my hand. Ja, dare no. You've probably heard of the word before, dare desu ka? Who is it? But if you add a no, it becomes a possessive. And it's a question word. So say we have a Takahashi sensei no hon desu. Takahashi sensei's book. Then we have watashi no hon desu. My book. What if we put dare no hon desu? What we get is whose book? It becomes a question. Dare no hon desu ka? I forgot a question marker here. Dare no hon desu ka? Alright, so let's just look at some examples of this. これは誰の金槌ですか? 誰の金槌ですか? And then to answer, we replace 誰 with the name of the person. トルの金槌です. トルの金槌です. Let's do one more. Alright, 誰の本ですか? 誰の本ですか? はい、私の本です. So these are pretty easy questions to make and answer. Oops. Here I just put in a little chart, if you want to take a peek. You're going to see probably about 3 or 4 more words like this. It has ko, so, and do. And just kind of like take a look. It's something kind of nice. Alright, now we're going to cover mo, or to. Basically, if you know how to use wa, you can use mo. And it means also. And it often follows a sentence that uses wa. I'll show you what I mean. So, 私は vampire desu. Because I'm a vampire. They just kind of say it in a funny way. So, 私も vampire desu. So, George W. Bush is saying, I'm a vampire. And George Washington is saying, oh, I'm a vampire too. He could say 私は vampire desu, but this has more feeling behind it. And let's take a look down here. So, 私は vampire hunter desu. He's not saying vampire, so he can't really say mo because he's not the same as them. 本当にこれやばい. Alright, so now we're going to talk about negation. And before we talked about the des sentences. So we had a sentence that looked a lot like noun des. But in order to make it negative, all you need to do is add janai between the noun and the des. Noun janai desu. And you can use this for all sorts of nouns you can think of. You can use names, you can use places, like Pita janai desu, Tokyo janai desu, Koko wa Nihon janai desu. Alright, so then there's another pattern. So we take the subject. Well, add wa, got a little tilted. Object. Janai desu. Maybe I can turn that a little bit. I'm just going to leave it like that. So this is the general pattern. Let's see some examples in this way. So here we have 2 sentences. Inu janai desu and neko janai desu. So let's see. Hopefully you guys know what inu and neko is. If not, this is a neko. And これは inu desu. So if you know that, which sentence goes with which picture? Alright, so neko janai desu would actually go over here. Oh, over here. It's not a cat. And ino janai desu would go over here. It's not a dog. And these are some of the various ways you might see this negative form come up. Ja arimasen is the most polite. You should use it with people you don't know and people above you, like your teacher. You'll practice it a lot in class. But also, janai desu is okay. Usually mostly with friends and people maybe you meet in your neighborhood daily would be alright. Janai should be reserved for your close friends. And I spent a lot of time in Tokyo, and people like there's certain things, and jane is very common in Tokyo. Don't use it with your teachers. Depending where you go, there might be different versions. Just be aware that there's some kind of interesting stuff going on. Alright, so let's just see. 私はヴァンパイアじゃないです。私もヴァンパイアじゃないです。I'm not a vampire. I'm also not a vampire. And there's 私はヴァンパイアハンターじゃないです。I'm not a vampire hunter. 本当？いえ、ヴァンパイアハンターです。No, I am a vampire hunter. Alright, and the last topic we're going to talk about today is one of my favorites. It's these are markers that come at the ends of sentences, and they really give it flavor. These are really fun to play around with, and the people react differently when you use these, so really try them out. We have ne and yo. I have a feeling most people know about ne coming into studying Japanese because all the kawaii desu ne. The ne is like kind of a seeking affirmation. You're not completely sure of what you're saying. It's like, oh, it's cute. No, you're looking for someone to kind of like reply back to you. But yo is kind of like this baby. You know what you're saying and you know you're right. Alright, so here we have some Bernie Sanders as a kawaii desu ne. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, it's cute. But here he's kind of like confident, maybe a little smug. Kawaii desu yo. Like, yeah, I'm cute. Like, deal with it. And here this is a very common thing in here. So desu ne. Oh, that's right, isn't it? And so desu yo. And it's like, oh yeah, that's it. That's right. And sometimes you even hear so desu yo ne. They'll actually use both the endings on top of each other, and they kind of balance each other out in a weird way. I'm not exactly sure what this means, but you'll listen for it and you'll hear it every now and then. Alright, so here's kind of an instance where ne is actually preferable to yo. 今日はいい天気ですね. Ah, so いい天気ですね. This ne kind of like asks the other person to talk to you and like confirm with you. So it's good for starting a conversation. If you say 今日はいい天気ですよ, it's sort of like today is good weather. The other person's like, yeah, it's good weather, right? I mean, there's not really too much room for them to kind of move. This makes it much easier. Kind of on the other hand, this is a good situation where you'd want to use maybe yo instead of ne. Sakura-chan wa Kankokujin. Kankoku is Korea. Jin, Kankokujin, a Korean person. Desu ka? And then, ie, Nihonjin desu yo. Ah, so desu ne. So here you're kind of disagreeing a little bit. You're not being rude or too pushy about it, but you're saying, I really know this as a fact that she's not Korean, she's Japanese. I mean, her name's Sakura-chan. Like, how could you get that wrong? But, so this is a good chance. And you kind of see at the end, they use ne here. They kind of back off a little bit. So those are all the videos for today. I hope you enjoyed them. Yeah, keep on studying Japanese. Alright, I'm done.
Nice. Good job.
So, hopefully I didn't take too long on those, but that was about 10 minutes.
You were moving pretty quick, dude. That's actually a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they do a lot in those Genki books. It took me longer than I thought to set up the slides. Yeah, I made a few little errors here and there, but nothing really like big that I'd want to go over and do stuff.
It was fine.
But, yeah, cool.
Sweet.
Just gotta cut them and paste them, cut them and post them. I made one or two little mistakes.